Today I'm going to show you how I painted my boat letters and numbers on my inflatable Seahawk 4 boat. I'll show you step by step how to clean and prepare the surface, the stencil and the stenciling process, and the paint I'm using and the painting process. The first thing I've done is identify on both sides where my boat letters and numbers are going to go. This is brand new vinyl from the factory, so it has some waxes and some dirt on it. So I'm gonna wet sand with 1000 grit sandpaper, and then I'm gonna clean it with alcohol. Both sides are sanded, cleaned, and prepped, and now I'm masking off to get my background. I'm gonna move it out of the sun and let some of the air out of the boat. The paint I'm using is vinyl and fabric paint from Duplicolor. You can pick this up at pretty much any automotive store. This is the kind of paint you would use to paint the seats of your car that are vinyl or leather. So it gives and expands. So I'm thinking it's gonna work pretty good for this vinyl boat. I'm shaking the paint with my DIY spray can shaker. I'll put a link to the build video for this at the end of today's video, but it's very important to shake your paint very well before you start. For my base color, I'm using black, and for my letters and numbers, I'm using white. The trick here is going to be to put on many light coats. This way it will promote adhesion. The first thing I'm gonna do is to line up the red dot with the dots on the can. This is a little paint tip with all spray paints. This way you can use all of the paint from the bottom of the can through the straw. For my first coat, I am not worried about color or coverage. I just want to get a nice, very light coat. Just some specks, that's all I'm going for. That's had a few minutes to dry. Now I'm going to hit the second coat. Again, just a very, very light coat. I'm not worried about coverage at all. Here we are. This is our third coat. Now I'm going to start putting on just a little bit heavier. We're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to come back and give it another coat. That's had a few minutes to dry. Now we're going to put on our final coat, and it does not have to be heavy because we've already built up our color. All right, let's take a close-up look at that final coat. There you can see the final coat is nice and even. The color looks pretty good. I'm not really worried about the margins. I just want a nice black background to make my numbers and letters stand out. I'm gonna pull off my masking paper, and then we're gonna move the boat out into the sun, and we're gonna let this thing dry for a few hours, and then we'll start the letters and the numbers. I've got this thing in the sun. Like I said before, I'm not really worried about these margins. I just want a nice black background for my white letters to stand out. Here is my stencil for my letters and my numbers. I'm gonna put this on, and we're gonna hit the white paint. Just like before, we're gonna do multiple super light coats to promote adhesion. First coat, that's it. Let's let this thing dry for a couple of minutes, and we're gonna do it again. All right, that's good enough. Another light coat. All right, let's let this thing dry for a couple minutes. We'll do another coat. All right, that's good enough. Let's let this thing set, and then we're gonna do the final coat. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll go do the other side off camera, and then we'll take a look at the finished product. This thing's been drying in the sun for a few hours. Let's get up close and take a look at it and see just how well this paint's done. Wow, it's held up pretty good here. I like the edges that there's really no ridge. The white doesn't feel any different than the black. Now the curvature of the boat has allowed a little overspray on the top and the bottom. I'm really not all that concerned with that. Let's go around and look at the other side. All right, this kind of feels the same. Wow, that's hot from the sun, but I kind of like it. I think that this is going to work out pretty good. It feels flexible. I can poke it. The real test is going to be time, but I'm going to deflate this thing and then I'm going to wrinkle it up and see how it looks. I think it's going to hold up pretty good. So what do you think about vinyl and fabric paint being used on an inflatable boat for the letters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm making several videos about this boat, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any. And check out this video for my carpeted floor system that I recently made for this Seahawk 4. I'm glad you watched, and I hope you'll watch again. It's pretty stable. Let's see how it is out on the water.